I felt the little tap of a hand and I'm like, I'm good. No, you're not. You're going to get in trouble, more trouble. So I did. I violated probation and scared me to death.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday episode of Mornings with Missy. I'm here in the studio today to talk with a very special guest about addiction and building a life you love. Today, I want to introduce you to my friend, Amy Rakestraw. Amy, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming out on this early Saturday morning.
Perfect.
I'm going to real quickly thank our sponsor, Reba's Buds and Blooms, for their always beautiful flower arrangement. Drop by and see Amanda and Robert on Main Street, Henrietta, for all of your floral, gift, and local honey needs. Okay, Amy, we do a segment on the show every week called Cup of the Week, and it's an opportunity for you to break the ice a little bit and get comfortable in the studio and share something about yourself.
I bought this one. It was gifted to me by a very special lady that is no longer with me. She also gifted me one that says, I can't even. I didn't want to bring that one because that's not my mindset anymore. So I started using this one every morning. I do a lot of self-talk to myself just to start my day, especially if my day is not going to go very well or feels like it's not. And be happy. Just be happy in whatever.
You definitely have learned that. We're going to dive into all of that.
Yeah.
But tell me what you're doing right now. I want to know about you've taken on a new position and you're really helping folks work through some difficult situations. And so talk to me about that.
So I have actually come full circle. I got a new job at Creoaks Mental Health in Okmulgee. I am a certified FPRSS and PRSS.
That's a mouthful for those of us that don't know those acronyms.
It is a family peer recovery support specialist. That's what I will be doing there. I'll be working with families. Yeah, I never in a million years thought where I started and where I am today that would ever even be a possibility.
But you've said that to me before. It's like, you're a woman of faith, and you've said that you just never know what's possible with God.
You just
possibilities, and you've even shared with
endless.
me. Yeah, you've even shared with me recently, how you just threw up some prayers.
Yep.
As you were going through some transitions in life, and I'm just leaving this in God's hands. And then a phone call comes, or you receive a message, and that prayer was just answered.
I also had a friend. She also works at Creoaks that. They really needed this position filled really bad. And she was doing dual work. And she was like, she actually had told my best friend, she really, really needs to push for this. And I had told her, I was like, I don't know. And she was like, just submit your resume. I was like, I don't even have one. She goes, make one. So I made one. I submitted it. Didn't hear anything. Got a job at Walmart. And sunk myself into that, and I kind of rose up pretty quick.
Because you're a worker.
Yep. I used my assertiveness and was like, I need full time, and I want to be in a certain position. And, about 9 months later, there I was. 9 months later, Creoaks called. So
that's fabulous. I know a few people, over the course of my life who have overcome addiction, and we're talking specifically about meth. methamphetamines.
Yep.
And that percentage of people, individuals who are able to overcome that addiction specifically is so small. I mean, at one point I had heard it was 5%.
It is. It is 5. I think it could be a little lower. You know, there's been the opioid crisis and fentanyl crisis, so I'm sure it's still setting at 5%. I'm sure that's, you know, where it is, but that is incredibly small if you look at the population.
It is so small, so small. And I know here in Okmulgee County, we see a lot of that. There's a lot of facilities that offer the recovery help.
Yes, ma'am.
Which are fantastic. But unfortunately, we just wish that they didn't have to be. You know, you wish you didn't have to have so many.
Right.
But there is definitely a great need. Tell me how that came about, because I know that, and I'm not from this area. I'm a transplant, but I know that you come from a very strong family, upstanding citizens.
Yes.
How do you get messed up with that? And tell me about your upbringing.
My upbringing, I thought a very perfect childhood. My brother and sister, of course, graduated, moved on.
You're the baby of the family?
I'm the baby of the family, 6th grade. So it was me, my mom, and my dad. And I had a fantastic childhood. There was no trauma to speak of. You know, all families have trouble, but very, very good upbringing. Was raised in the church, and I don't know. I honestly don't know, other than recreational, and just kind of fell in that area because it was a wide span. I had as much not using time as I did using time, and I just based it off about 16 years. But it got deep later in the 2000s. So it got really deep when my dad passed.
And that was in
2011.
2011?
I didn't know much about grief. I was a little bit of a sheltered child. Everything roses, you know, and pretty spoiled. So when I lost him, I lived with him and I took care of him. I helped take care of him. And I didn't have any idea about stages of grief, how to deal with that. And I picked up 1 week after he passed.
You know, my daughter-in-law was on set with me a couple of weeks ago, and impromptu interview, but she has dealt with grief of her brother, and it was in a different passing situation than your father. But grief is just so ugly, and there's not a right way or a wrong way, but there are healthy ways to deal with grief.
Yep.
And you know, unfortunately, you share openly. Yeah. You went back to something that had been a hold for you, something that was an unhealthy way to grieve.
And I knew, you know, I had about lost my life in 2010, and it's a pretty deep story, but God wasn't done with me yet. And it was a complete miracle because I was life flighted, and they told my family, you tell her goodbye now. And 8 days later, I walked out of a Tulsa hospital with low magnesium. Wow. That was it. Nothing else. And that changed me until my dad passed. So there was a good year and a half in there that I just sunk in, helped take care of my dad, go to appointments. And when he was gone, I didn't, I really did not know where to process or how to process it at all.
So when you started using again in 2011, how long did that course last?
2012 when I got a felony.
Oh, well, that'll do it, won't it?
Yep.
Kind of shake you up a little bit.
They, you hear law enforcement use the word scared straight, or we will show you, you are not going to do this anymore. And used to laugh it off. I was like, they won't touch me. But you see, my dad was a prominent man in Henrietta, and they didn't really bother me. And I ran the streets pretty good, off and on, all through the 2000s. But let me tell you, once he's gone, they bothered me.
And we're glad they did.
Yeah, absolutely, because I've never looked back.
Yeah. We're going to take a break and hear from one of our sponsors, and then we'll come back and continue hearing Amy's journey of recovery and hope.
Welcome, Okmulgee. We're here at Work Ready Okmulgee. This is our July workshop. We're here to find a job, get a job, and keep a job. All these wonderful people are here this month. If you're in the Okmulgee area and you'd like to start your next career, come on down to Work Ready Okmulgee and let us help you. We're here at 7th and Grand. You can reach us at 539-286-6136 or click our banner on okmulgeelogonews.com. Thank you.
All right, we're back. So Amy, okay, so after your father passed, you said you went off the rail.
Yes.
You got caught, thankfully. Yep. Scared straight.
Basically, yes.
Mm-hmm. How did that journey take place then? What did you do? What were your recovery steps?
I went to a recovery up by Miami, and it's really crazy because there was a virus that started between all the girls, a stomach virus, and I got that. Well, I was a little immune compromised from my stint with almost losing my life, and they had a virtual doctor, but not one on call. And they got a hold of the DA and was like, we don't want her here being sick. So the DA was like, that's fine, send her home. And they put me on probation.
And back to Henrietta?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I had a stint with the flu right in there, and it was a pretty crazy sickness ordeal. And of course, I hadn't been in rehab long enough to realize, I felt the little tap of a hand, and I'm like, I'm good. No, you're not. You're going to get in trouble, more trouble. So I did. I violated probation, and scared me to death. So I, with the help of my sister and a friend who is no longer with us because of addiction, he's one of my best friends, I ended up in 12 and 12 in Tulsa. And the day that I got out of my sister's car, I said a prayer, and I meant it, that there was no way that I was going to stay or begin to heal myself if I didn't lay it at his feet and heal myself from the inside out. There was no way, because I was outside in.
Yeah.
And I never looked back.
And that's where the hard work is, but it's where the healing work begins. Is when we start from the inside. Yeah.
That's where I learned the first thing, nothing changes if nothing changes.
Is that, that's part of the 12 steps?
Or is it not different in there? Yeah, okay. We did 12 steps, and everybody's different. I did my 12 steps. I actually did them a couple of times through my stint, because after I got out of rehab and I did a step down, I did 6 months. So you do 30 days intensive, and then you do another 30 days that they call it halfway. And then I went to the top floor of the building, and it was just like transitional. So I could go home on the weekends. I just had a curfew when I was there. You could have a job. So, and that's really to transition you. And I thought I was done when they were like, okay, you get to go home in July. I was like, heck yeah. Nope, the DA was like, we're going to go ahead and put you in the Anna McBride program in Creoaks. And that's where Creoaks came involved. I was a little upset at first,
but was right where you were supposed to be.
It was right where I was supposed to be at the exact time.
Because you not only experienced it firsthand,
right.
Now you're getting to bring that, as you said earlier, full circle.
Yeah.
What a great story, a fantastic testimony. I know that your position there with the Creoaks, it's peer-to-peer. So in order to even be considered for that, I'm assuming that you have to have had either personal experience with it in some capacity.
Yes, Oklahoma, you have to have a certification, and Oklahoma, I'm not sure on other states, but in Oklahoma, you have to have the lived experience. And that's where it all fell in. It's not just my meth recovery. I'll be working with families with children that have disabilities, and, the coping skills. I'm by no means a therapist nor a counselor. I am there to use my story and my strengths to encourage others to possibly use them as well to,
just real life experience.
Real life experience.
Sometimes that's better than a textbook.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
I could not be where I am through a textbook today. It's hard work. It's my first years of recovery. I didn't use a lot of the coping skills. I know back when I was in 12 and 12, I had a counselor tell me, you have this suitcase and you still have so much in it and it's so heavy, start unloading it. I put in the analogy as it's an onion. And I was trying to go super deep, and my son's in recovery now too, and that's what he did too. And I'm so glad that I learned it. You got to back up and pull each layer. And there's no time limit. And that's what I did. And, once he learned that too, he was like, then I could step back and start seeing. So I started taking some baggage out of that suitcase and putting a coping skill in. And
replacing it.
And sometimes I put baggage back in it, and it gets super heavy. And there is baggage in my life that has still been in there, but one day God will let me know when I need to do what I need to do. I've not always leaned on him, but I'm telling you, I have learned if you put it at his feet, leave it at his feet. Because I'm one I need to drive. Yeah. So I will pick it up.
That's so hard, isn't it? We always want to go back and pick it up.
Yes. Yeah. So I couldn't be where I am right now with this new job and everything by picking up those burdens and trying to take care of it myself.
And of course, just us having this conversation alone and putting it out there, you'll probably get hit with something here in the next week that's going to make you want to pick it up, and you're going to use those tools and go to your arsenal.
I put them, Yeah. I do a lot of self-talk in the mirror in the morning or on my drive to work. I don't listen to the radio very often. It's a quiet time. And I think I got that from my dad. Now, there was many times that my dad would listen to AM radio with it crackling at the top of the line. But honestly, that's my quiet time. And my favorite phrase is, it's fine. You are fine. You are okay. So as long as I can tell myself that.
What would you tell the addict, the recovering person today? You've spoken to that a lot in this conversation, but what would, if you were to have someone right here in front of you today, what would your words of encouragement or direction be?
I can use my son and he was in a fentanyl addiction, and I watched it unfold right there in my floor, and God guided me there. And I just told him, I was like, if you can just take my hope and a little mustard seed of mine and God's faith and just hold on to that just a second, it'll get you there. You won't understand it. You cannot understand it. But I believe in you until you can believe in yourself. And I have told many people that, even people not in addiction.
Well, you kind of answered my next question, because it was going to be directed to the families. So how does the mother, the brother, the friend, the husband, the spouse, how do we help that individual through? And
hope. I mean, you have to, your faith, it doesn't, whatever your higher power or whatever that is for you, your strength
are
and
there
hope,
things that we should,
resilience.
Yeah. Are there things that you would advise to not do?
You can't. That's a good question, because
and I know
everything
everyone's unique.
Everyone is super unique, but not using your story for the strength and the hope and the faith to give them the courage to find something deep within it. You use open-ended questions instead of being like, I wouldn't do that. You're like, what could we do to make you feel better and not guilty and have so much shame? What is it we can do to help you?
Yeah.
And
clearly we're talking about when we're already into that recovery stage, not when you're getting picked up as you were.
Right. Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
It is a very different conversation.
Gosh, Amy, your story is just so full of hope and encouragement, and what a testimony you are.
Thank you.
To your resilience, your strength. And you're going to be such a fantastic asset to the Creoke community, to that position. So
the funny thing, I didn't mean to interrupt you at all, but as I was coming out of the gas station today, there's a guy that walks a lot, and he'll carry his little weed eater around or whatever and he said, hey, and I said, hello, and he said, are you still at Walmart in Okmulgee? And I said, a little bit. I said, I have a job with Creokes now. And he was like, really? He was like, so I actually, one-on-one right there, he was like, do they take like Medicaid Sooner Care? And I said, we do. And he said, that's awesome. What do I do? Just call? And I said, yep, call, and they will direct you where you need to go. And it probably won't have anything to do with me. But just that right there, God put him there and me there, and I was able just to give him a little bit of information that I saw a little smile on his face.
And that story right there brings up the thing that I would not have asked, which would have been about financial assistance or health insurance and that type of thing. So just so many great resources right here in this community.
Yep.
So thank you so much, Amy, for joining me.
Yes, thank you.
I so appreciate it, and I know our audience does too.
Yeah, thank you.
We wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining me today, and we will see you next time on Mornings with Missy.